is over, and it's time to talk about what happened. We'll go inside the locker room, dive into the numbers, and take your calls on the Green Bay Football Postgame Show. Let's get to Steve Sparky Pfeiffer to talk about today's game on The Fan.
No Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Thunder Nellis here with the Green Bay Football Postgame Show. Packers win 27-18 over the Cincinnati Bengals. They bounce back after the bye week in a game that was
that is what the game was, Tommy.
It feels like it. That was the way. I had nothing really great to say about it, nothing really bad to say about it along the way. And the Green Bay Packers able to take care of business now, 3-1-1. Wasn't it weird, Mitch, that the Packers and the Bengals had the same amount of wins coming into today?
Yes.
That was weird.
2-3 versus 2-1-1. Totally awkward.
Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250 if you want to join the program. What did you think of the Packers 27-18 victory over Cincinnati? The offense, again, just felt like the most boring 27 points they could find. A big day for Josh Jacobs to get back in the realm. But Mitch, again, another case of the defense just being like bend but don't break the entire game. You're kind of waiting for that one moment where, hey, they really break this thing open or pull away from the Bengals, and they never quite got that moment again in this game.
No, and this is what Jeff Hafley's known for. Like, this is what we saw all of last season. Last season, Jeff Hafley, bend but don't break, keep your team in it, keep the lead, figure it out. And we thought after 2 weeks of this year that it was going to be bend but don't break, but then break somebody else.
Yes.
Break Washington, break Detroit like they did. And then Cleveland happened, then Dallas happened, and then even today, no, again, they didn't force any turnovers, right? No turnovers today?
No turnovers again.
No turnovers. They give up an 11-minute drive to start the second half. I'm not saying things are broken, and I'm not even saying things are bad, but a bend but don't break defense that adds Micah Parsons and is still just a bend but don't break defense doesn't seem that special to me. Like 3-1-1 is good, but they just don't seem that special to me right now.
And the only thing on the defense highlight worthy today.
He run the back. Second down goal. Flacco to the air. Hit by Dennis. He's sacked back at the 10. Losing 6. That's his first sack of the season.
Lucas Van Ness, his first sack of 2025. Highlights courtesy of CBS. Kevin Harlan on the call today. Want to join the show? Go on ahead. Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250. Joining us right away here on the Nicolay Law
Let's go
talking text line. Mr. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer live over at Lambeau already. Mr. Pfeiffer, how did you enjoy the game? When's the last time you've been to a Packer game, Mr. Pfeiffer?
It's been a while. I don't know when, but yeah, it's been a while for sure.
Did that feel like an insanely boring 9-point victory for Green Bay? And every time you just wanted them to really separate and get away from it, they never got to it again. Like, what was your first reactions to Packers Bengals?
Never take a 3-year-old to a Packer game. That's my first.
Dude, we all could have told you that.
Good call.
Yeah, just screaming and angry for 3 hours. It was fun. We left at the 7-minute mark to get in our car, and now we are sitting in traffic currently.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was great. I will say that as far as this game goes, I was really concerned that Tucker Kraft was hurt, and I missed it at one point until he scored the touchdown. Because yet again, another week of not having Tucker Kraft involved in the offense.
Yep.
Like, for the love of God, what did he do to not be involved in this offense? I understand he has a love affair with Romeo Doubs at this point. Jordan Love does, and that's fine. But Romeo Doubs is not a game breaker necessarily one way or the other. He's a very good player. Fine. I'll give him that. But he's not a difference maker. And they desperately need Christian Watson back to this offense.
Yes, sir.
Jaden Reed too, but that's not going to be until Thanksgiving. Hopefully you get Christian Watson back maybe for this next game. this offense gets on track, because that offense was nothing special today at all.
Well, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer here with us. Go ahead, Mitch.
I was going to say, in the second half, when they needed to respond to what the Bengals did, they did put points on the board.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like in that first half, to go up 10-0 at halftime. I mean, I don't know how anyone kept their eyes open in that first half. It's just like, it's not like the defense did anything special. Cincinnati was that bad, and the Packers were almost as bad.
The other thing too about this is, Van Ness gets that big sack, and that was nice, but you didn't really see much of Micah, did you? Maybe you saw it on TV, but being there watching replays, I didn't see a ton of Micah Parsons.
No, it was very much the effect of, he's the guy applying pressure, and they obviously every week it feels like now Joe Flacco probably drilling this into Zach Taylor's head. It's all drawing up quick pass plays against Green Bay.
Everything is quick.
Everything's a check down, quick slants. There's nothing that can develop down the field because they don't want to have any sort of time. And on top of it, it looks like it on TV at least. You can tell that it wears down that front seven a little bit too. They continue to do just quick, easy plays, and you exert all this energy, and then by that third down, it doesn't seem like they get home as quick as you would like them to, Pfeiffer.
I agree with you on that. And, and the other part about this too is when we talk about this Packers defense and what they're going to do. Thank God Hobbs was out there today. That I guess helped a little bit to balance off Keyshawn Nixon and not putting it all on Carrington Valentine. You also have to remember that this is Flacco's second time in just like 3 or 4 weeks facing this Packers defense.
Yeah.
Right.
And I believe Micah Parsons still doesn't have a sack on Joe Flacco unless he had happened after I walked out.
Nope.
He did not
So
get
he
one.
still does, right. So he still doesn't have a sack on him. So that still didn't end up working out at the end of the day. But part of my thing on all of this is at some point here going forward, when do they unleash Edgerrin Cooper to go get the quarterback? Like, when do we start to see that part of this package? Like, are we waiting for the second half of the year, so forth? What did they do in the bye week?
Yeah,
Like
well, and you saw it with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons was lining up in that middle linebacker mug blitz way more this week.
True. Yeah, that is true. But for me, outside of Micah and Rashawn Gary's getting paid a lot of money and all that, I just think Edgerrin Cooper could be unbelievable if you started sending him on blitzes and doing fun stuff like that. We'll see if we get to that at some point, but they scored more points than I thought they would, the Bengals. And obviously Flacco has more complementary pieces to play with in Cincy than he did in Cleveland, so you knew they'd have more success in the Cleveland offense. The Packers offensive line, as far as protecting Jordan Love, I don't know if that was anything great to write home about necessarily.
No. Watching
it in person.
No, I don't think it was either. But I will say they did get the ball into Josh Jacobs' hand, and Josh Jacobs, definitely at times today looked like Josh Jacobs. Didn't look like the 3.3 yards per carry Josh Jacobs, but did look a little bit better. Now he ended up 18 for 93, a 5.2 average. I think that's more of the Josh Jacobs they're looking for. Yeah.
The other thing too is, you get Golden involved early with a couple of plays, and then you go away from them until the second to last drive of the game.
Yeah.
He gets that 31-yard catch, but prior to that, he was non-existent there in the second half. That's, again, I do not understand what exactly is going on here. Like, the goal of this should be to get your playmakers involved. Yeah. And with all due respect to Romeo Doubs, if you're giving me the option of getting the ball in Golden's hands or Dobbs' hands, I'm picking Matthew Golden.
Well, and on top of that, I feel like I'm watching a 2015 Badger game now every time the Packers play. It's a jet sweep, orbit sweep type motion, just like to 8 different guys at some point. They tried it with Golden on a couple of occasions. Savion Williams got one. Even Bo Melton got one. At some point, you can't run 4 jet sweeps in the same game because everyone knows it's coming at that point.
Or you have to play something off of it.
Yes.
So if you're going to do it and you're setting up something later off of a fake jet sweep to hit a play down, the opposite sideline or something, that makes a lot of sense if you're using it to set something up later in the game. And quite frankly, I'm not sure that he has done that to this point, that being Matt LaFleur.
Steve Sparky Pfeiffer live from Lambeau. Went to the game today here on the Green Bay Football post-game show. How'd you feel Jordan Love played, Spark?
That pass from Luke Musgrave, I still can't believe I saw that pass. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody in the stadium went, really? because he just doesn't throw passes like that. Yeah, some guys around the league, you'll see, airmail things, but for the most part, that wasn't the case. And he aerials that ball and then hits Golden and stride down the left sideline after that on the response, like, don't worry, I still got it. So I thought Jordan Love played fine. He had the ill-advised throw to Dobbs that got tipped that ended up with the interception. I was happy that he used his legs a little bit more today. Got a first down running the football. If there's nothing there, get out and run, pick up 6-7 yards. You want to continue to see Jordan Love do that moving forward. And again, don't take a big sack, throw the ball away if need be, or get out of harm's way one way or the other. And for the most part, I feel like he did that.
You mentioned the legs, and you'll see when you watch it back, he had another, he used his legs toward the end of the game as well. But my concern is, you just brought it up, the Musgrave and then the Golden throw. Like, we know he can be super accurate, but he knows we also know he makes bad decisions, and sometimes the ball just doesn't go where he wants. And I'm just concerned that that's always going to be Jordan Love, and that against better teams, that's going to end up burning them. Where we want, we want perfection every time, but we want just more than competence. We want really good. We want great. And there's just too often that he just does something where you just scratch your head and say, how did that happen?
Okay, so let's just be honest and realistic with ourselves, right? So he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. That's just not going to happen. He's going to play closer to what Favre played like. If you're trying to figure out who he is between those two, he's probably closer to Brett, where he might make some head scratching throws from time to time. And then at the same time, he's going to fit a ball somewhere where he maybe didn't think, and everybody's going to go crazy. He's going to use his legs probably a little bit more closer to Rodgers than Brett did from that perspective. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? We'll see. I mean, it's a long ways to go before we declare that. Right now, obviously, no. But guys, my God, prior to last year, Josh Allen was throwing interceptions all the time, too.
Yeah.
Mahomes is still throwing interceptions all the time. We're coming off a guy that threw no picks in Aaron Rodgers. That was an anomaly in this league. We've got to loosen up here and give Jordan Love some breathing room to do what he's doing. Because, again, they win the game, and we're all going to harp on, he had made a bad throw, and then he threw behind, and that's what everybody's going to harp on versus all the other stuff he did. I feel like he's going to get a bad rap in this deal no matter how long he plays until he wins a ring.
Yeah.
Then once he wins a ring, then everybody's going to have to just figure out how to shut up moving forward.
It makes total sense. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, have a good rest of your night, my friend. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, all right?
Tomorrow, Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound. You and me and every other person getting ready for game one of the NLCS. NLCS, I said.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody's flustered about the Packers and all that, don't worry. NLCS tomorrow. Let's go.
We'll
Amen,
be there.
brother.
There he
Amen.
is. Have a good one, Spark.
Toodles.
There he is. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer jumping off the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Greg in Waukesha, you're up next here. Greg, how we doing tonight, my man?
Well, still a little bit upset. I'm a spoiled Packers fan. I will admit it. I really would like to have seen us score 30 points. I don't know why 30 points. It's my score for the Packers, but we're so used to games where the Packers do score that. But, yeah, I think for the most part, the defense was played pretty well in the first half. My concern is, and I hope LaFleur will add a little bit more in. Jordan Love needs to do a little bit more trickeration, and I don't know if he even has that word in his vocabulary. We saw a little bit of that today, but here's my question to you guys. Can you guys ever see the Packers utilizing the flea flicker? And I'll hang up with this, but utilizing, and I don't even know, being a blind guy from Waukesha, I don't know myself, but what a flea flicker even is. So someone could describe that to me, but can you guys even picture that LaFleur using Jordan Love that way? And I think Sparky's right. We're looking for Jordan Love to be Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, and he's not going to be. So anyway, that's a question about the flea flicker. But thank you, Thunder and Tommy, for hosting this. And I'm following you guys all the Brewers postseason, which hopefully will last well into October.
Amen,
and
brother.
November.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Thanks for the call, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. Greg's great. I've met Greg before.
Yeah, great dude.
Yeah.
Great dude.
Yeah.
I think Greg is saying something when he says trickeration, right? I think the line he's actually looking for is vanilla, right? The offense looks very vanilla, and the creativity and the Matt LaFleur as the offensive guru, like 27 points. Like, you can't really say the offense was super like out of the ordinary. It wasn't struggling by any means during that, but you're looking for something that makes you think, oh, wow, like that's a special play right there, right? You're looking for that Ben Johnson type moment, those Sean McVay. Like, there isn't a lot of creativity. It's just all built on vanilla and efficiency, it feels like. And that's why Greg is trying to have some sort of flea flicker happen, just to give you a little bit more excitement, a little more juice to this offense.
Well, and I think, what we were so used to, and these aren't exciting plays necessarily, but Aaron Rodgers either gets 12 guys on the field or draws somebody off sides and then chucks it to Jennings or Nelson. Right. And that happened once or twice a game. Every single game, there was the opportunity for a big play. And I think the problem right now that we're seeing with the Green Bay Packers team is that there's no big plays. And yes, we know Jaden Reed's not there. And we know Christian Watson's coming back. So they really don't have a big play guy right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what fans are seeing, is that we see other teams hit a big play or at least have the opportunity for a big play. And the Packers have not been able to hit big plays. Now, Golden, I'd say, does feel like he's changing that a little bit. 3 for 86. That's almost a 30-yard. That's a 27-yard average or 29-yard average. That's pretty good. That's close to big play.
Well, you know who also did that? MVS, right? He was like, that's an MVS stat line if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely.
Heading over to the YouTube chat, the dugout, the locker room, whatever you want to call it. Brett chiming in saying, Packers played a C- game. I feel like C+ is probably a little more, maybe B-.
Is C average?
C's average.
Then they played a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I think they played a little bit better than average.
A B-.
Over here,
not
Fitz,
great. Not great.
Nice win, but given the way the defense performed, I think we should all lower our expectations for this year. Steven saying here, great game to give some teaching tape a bit of the bye or out of the bye. LaFleur's teams usually lose games right after the bye. I will take it. There has been some flatter games after a bye for sure. This run from Fell, Jacobs TD, Kraft TD equals fantasy win. Mitch, I know you were concerned. Good to get the W, but I would have liked to see it be lopsided. Long stretches where Love doesn't go downfield. Everyone concerned? ? I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned yet. It's too early to be concerned. This was the 5th game they have played. This is not even a third of their season yet for Green Bay. I think that there will be time to be concerned still. So if you are concerned now, there's a lot more to get to.
I would also argue with that is there were numerous times where it looked like everyone was covered.
Yeah.
Right. Where we don't have the all 22 and they don't always show us the right angle, but it looked like Love is there. And I don't know exactly. I don't know how to feel about the offensive line right now, Tommy.
Oh, I have some thoughts.
Okay.
I have some thoughts. And just to even go off of it, right? Yeah. We were talking about it on that third down run play where it was the play action and they were expecting Josh Jacobs to be open. He wasn't open, and Jordan Love had to run for the first down. Really carried the team.
And made a great move.
Boy. Great move. That's about the trickeration this Packers offense has right now. It is the Green Bay football postgame show. Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Thunder Nellis joining me here. We'll take you up till about 8 o'clock or so today.
Thanks for having me, Tommy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so weird sitting in this chair. And Sparky was like, oh, yeah, I'll come on whenever. Burned himself in the first segment. We'll get to it. No Ryan Wood today either. It's his first game he has ever not attended as a member of the Green Bay Press Gazette. 199 straight games. Broke the streak on 200 right there.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's what he said, at least.
You know what? He wanted something in common with Tom Brady. Pick number 199,
Mhm.
199 games.
There it
You know,
is.
if we could all be in the same sentence with the GOAT, I think we take it.
It is the Green Bay Football Post Game Show live from the 1250 AM 1057 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll go inside the box score right after this.
Let's go inside the box score. It's the Green Bay Football Postgame Show with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on The Fan.
Packers take down the Bengals 27-18.
Mason, dummy.
Before we go inside the box score, heading out to the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250 if you want to be a part of the show. Tony in Texas, you're live here on the Green Bay Football Postgame Show. How are we doing, Tony?
Hey, I'm doing good, Tommy. You know, Matt LaFleur's got his hands full. Not as bad as Luke Fickell does right now. That's a different story.
Good point.
You know what? This team is just underwhelming. There's no knockout punch. There's a lack of urgency. They come off a bye. They really should be 5-0. The schedule has not been very difficult at all. We thought it was going to be a tough schedule. It hasn't.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that this team is playing up to their expectations. I know they've been banged up, but everyone's banged up. They did miss Devontae Wyatt today. I agree. But correct me if I'm wrong. Did they have their preferred 5 offensive linemen today?
Well, you bring that up, Tony, and they were rotating a lot in the beginning between Ryan and Morgan at guard. But other than that, yeah, they did.
Okay.
But
the
overall answer is no. They did not have their preferred offensive line out there. Walker was not in.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Walker was in. At guard, they did. Yeah,
they don't know who they want between
They
Ryan.
don't know who
they don't know who they want between Ryan and Morgan.
Do they not want either of them?
I don't know.
All right.
This might be a terrible analogy, but I feel like sometimes Jordan loves the trust fund baby. Like everything's got to be perfect and honky-dory, and he's going to be okay. But if the offensive line's not there, the running game's not there, receivers banged up, then, oh, man, Jordan Love is in panic mode, throwing off his back foot. And then other times when everything's perfect and set up great, he looks awesome. So I don't know what to say about this offense. I thought it was nice to see Josh Jacobs get going.
Yeah.
Matthew Golden, I do like Golden, but I got to say this again. The guy does not want contact. He goes out of bounds and lets the clock run after a nice catch. I'm like, these little things, Tommy, I mean, they add up. And it's a bad Bengals team, a wounded duck. I mean, that is not a good win. That is not a good win.
I don't think it was a terrible win, but I almost like your trust fund baby analogy. But instead of Jordan Love, I feel that way almost about Matt LaFleur. It feels like right now.
Interesting.
And
perfect.
And right, maybe that's not a healthy thing to feel about your head coach either. And
I agree.
What does it matter if it is your head coach or your quarterback? But there was some nice improvisation, I thought, in the running game with his legs from Jordan Love today. And while he had that throw missed to Musgrave, immediately after, he just dots up Matthew Golden like we've seen the last 2 quarterbacks do. But I don't know if it really does feel like this team is missing Christian Watson and Jaden Reed bad on the offense right now, Tony.
Yeah, I agree. Once Watson's back, you got that deep threat. I do like your point about LaFleur. I mean, LaFleur, okay, I don't think the Packer fans are always the brightest at home. We're making noise when we're on offense. And LaFleur's not locked in on the play. He's trying to tell the crowd to be quiet.
Yeah.
Why does that annoy me? That annoys me. It just gets on my nerves. Like, call the right play, coach your team. The fans want to be idiots, fine, let them be idiots. But the team has just got to stay focused and play 4 quarters of football. And, they're 3-1-1. They really should be 5-0. I think they're a playoff team. They're not a Super Bowl contender right now.
Tony, thanks for the call, my man. Have a good rest of your night.
Tommy. Take care, buddy. Go Brewers.
Go Brewers. There
Go
it
Brewers.
is. Tony in Texas, jumping off the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Let's go inside the box score here on Packers Bengals as Green Bay victorious 27-18 over Cincinnati, which is the most important stat, the win, right, Mitch? That's the most important.
Yeah.
Jordan Love.
I'm still thinking about this trust fund baby situation.
It's
I
not
think about this.
Not a terrible analogy Tony.
It's not.
Jordan Love, 19 of 26, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, the 1 pick on the first drive of the game. Passer rating over 100 again, 101.3, sacked just 1 time today. Josh Jacobs, this was his game, 18 carries, 93 yards, 5.2 average, 2 touchdowns, his 5th multi-touchdown game as a member of the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love second with 26 rushing yards. All of those, if not coming on scrambles. Matthew Golden, we talked about it. He got a couple of end arounds, 2 for 16. Emmanuel Wilson, 3 for 11. Bo Melton got an end around for 3 yards. Savion Williams got an end around for 3 yards. And Chris Brooks had a 1 run for 1 yard.
Tommy.
Yes.
Can I say I'm like over the end around? I know you kind of mentioned it too.
Yes.
Like, that's like
it is the Jazz PV end around that we would see with Wisconsin with Paul. That was the most creative Paul Chris would get. Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like those are the most creative plays now
it's like,
that Green Bay has.
And it's great when you score 70 against Nebraska in the Big Ten championship game, and it works in that game. But you don't do it over and over again. I just don't. I don't love it. When it popped up, I was driving here, and I hear Bo Melton, and I'm like,
yeah.
What are we doing?
Right. That was the most creative play they had in their bag
give it
today.
to Bo Melton, give it to Keyshawn Nixon.
It feels like we're just trying to find, like, it wasn't an overly impressive day. And again, if there is a serious positive to get after, it is that Josh Jacobs seemed to have found something. But even in a game where you want to control the game, right? You're Green Bay. They just had the Bengals they had a fantastic first drive. The Bengals coming out of the second half, right? They take like 10 minutes up away from Green Bay, and they get points on the board. They score the touchdown, and Green Bay, like, that's how does Josh Jacobs not have 20 carries in a game that you win by 9 and we're controlling the lead most of the game? He had a double-digit lead again in there. They got him a little bit involved in the pass game more than they typically do. 5 catches, 57 yards.
I mean, dude had 150 yards from scrimmage. That's a good day.
The team ran for 150 yards. I mean, but
you're right.
It just didn't feel the same way. The offensive line doesn't get the push like a Philadelphia Eagles line last year or a Dallas Cowboys line when they run the football.
When they were really good.
But they put up 150 yards on the ground, 153 yards, and a 4.6 average. Like, why is that not more impressive to us, Mitch?
I just think because of the way it's done, there's no, your long is 16 yards.
Yeah.
There's no bust out run. There's no 20, 30-yard run. Josh Jacobs, if you look in his career, those were runs that he made his bread and butter on with the Raiders. And he even had a bunch of those runs last year. For whatever reason, and I think part of it is like what we talked about, those end arounds, you're just getting stuffed out. You're getting snuffed on those. And so those aren't getting big yards. And so against the Bengals in a game that you really did control and you end up winning by 9, you could have maybe won by more. To get 153 yards is good. But I also think, we talked about why you were yelling at the TV in the fourth quarter. Why are they passing? And there's a play 3rd and 2 with 3 minutes left. and Love missed Golden or Golden wasn't open, or I don't know what happened. In that situation, I know that the Bengals are gearing up for the run. But if it's 3rd and 2 and you're up by 14 or you're up by 9 or you're up by whatever, 6, I don't even know what they were up at the time. Don't you run the ball there on 3rd and 2 to, part of it is that they're not busting anything. And the other part is that they're not imposing their will. Like Josh Jacobs is getting good runs, but it still doesn't feel like the offensive line has gelled. It doesn't feel like the Packers offense is imposing its will on other people. And that's what we expect to have happen at this point.
It is the Green Bay football postgame show. Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Thunder Nellis in for Steve Sparky Pfeiffer today. Brett commenting on Twitter. I feel it was a pathetic effort despite the win. Thank God you'll be talking about the Brewers' victory to advance instead of this game. We will be talking Packers this whole show, but we will be live at Kelly's Bleachers for Wisconsin Sports Daily and the leadoff show 2 to 7 tomorrow at Kelly's Bleachers. It'll be the full 3-hour Wisconsin Sports Daily and then a 2-hour leadoff show getting you ready for game 1 of the NLCS. Football mom commenting in, what is going on with this defense? We didn't get the ball in the second half until there was less than 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And John commenting, I still don't understand the LaFleur propensity to take a timeout or have a 2-minute warning. And then you have to immediately take another timeout. What in the hell was he thinking with the offense about the first timeout?
All right, so I hear that, but that was the 3rd and 2 play. And you're up, and it doesn't, at that point, it doesn't hurt you. You're not going to need the timeouts. If you don't see exactly the defense you're looking for, I actually don't have a problem with that timeout and calling a timeout, seeing what you want to do. Then the play call, the pass to Golden, I think was the big issue. Paul writes in on Facebook. Remember, we're at the Fan Milwaukee on Facebook. He's got defense C+, offense B, special teams A. And I'm looking, we're inside the box score, right? So I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna look where it says Lucas Havrasik, 2 for 2 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. How about just give him a hand?
Yeah,
5 for 5
needed it
on the day. No, I mean his long was 43, so it's not like he kicked a 50+ yarder. It's not like he made a 67 yarder. But in a game when you find out McManus is not going to play, how about your kicker going 5 for 5? I'll take it.
Green Bay's defense, Edgerrin Cooper leading the way with 11 tackles, Quay Walker with 8, Evan Williams with 7, Keyshawn Nixon, of a day, right? You don't really want your corner this high up with 6 tackles.
No,
the Packers,
that's bad for the rest of the defense. That's a good job by Keyshawn, but that means the rest of the defense didn't get enough tackles.
they did a good job stuffing the run. Bengals just had 55 yards on the ground as a team today. Packers had 5 tackles for loss, 3 passes defended. The lone sack coming from Lucas Van Ness. Earlier, we played that highlight courtesy of CBS. I didn't even know Nate Hobbs was playing this game. It felt like, which maybe is a good thing, Mitch, right?
Yeah.
I thought I saw it was all Keyshawn and Carrington Valentine, so maybe a good step in the right direction for Nate Hobbs during this process too, because you didn't necessarily know what you were getting out of him during this time. But that was inside the box score. Danny Whelan, I guess, nice job punting today, Danny.
Yeah.
Punters are people too.
Well, and one more inside the box score. The Packers came into the game averaging a league low, giving up 77.5 rushing yards per game. And they gave up what? You said 55?
Yeah.
Which is very good. And that'll continue. And I know they're facing him for the second time in 4 weeks. And so maybe there's some familiarity there, knowing that you go to quick passes. But for Flacco, 29 for 45, 219 yards, 90.9 passer rating. Like Flacco, if Flacco can do that to the Packers, what are good quarterbacks going to do to the Packers? What are great quarterbacks going to do to the Packers? I'm just a little worried if Flacco can have a pretty clean day, no interceptions, 1 sack. What are good quarterbacks going to do against this defense?
Yeah. Coming up, we'll hear from the quarterback, Jordan Love. He talked to the media already today. Get you some of that to play on the other side, awaiting Matt LaFleur as well. You'll hear from the head coach and the quarterback in the next hour. It is the Green Bay football postgame show. Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Thunder Nellis in for Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow to the Fan, a Green and Gold Monday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. It'll be Inside Wisconsin Sports with our guy Josh Albrecht, Mitch Nellis in for him as well on the program. We have 9 a.m. to noon. That is 9 to noon with Kuhn, Rami Makloff, John Kuhn, Brandon Snide producing that program. 12 to 2, the Mason Crosby Show, new slot, but it'll still be here all the time on the Fan. And, of course, Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. We will be live at Kelly's Bleachers for NLCS Game 1, Brewers-Dodgers from 2 to 7, giving you all the programming you need, getting you caught up for that. Let's get to some more Packers talk after the break. It is the Green Bay Football Postgame Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
The game is over, and it's time to talk about what happened. We'll go inside the locker room, dive into the numbers, and take your calls on the Green Bay football postgame show. Let's get to Steve Sparky Pfeiffer to talk about today's game on the Fan.
It's second down 7, and Jacobs, oh, look it, right down the middle. Touchdown for the second time today. Josh Jacobs, a Green Bay rushing touchdown. 14 yards.
Josh Jacobs, good day from him. Weird to find any positives, it seems like, after this game. Again, like, it wasn't like an underwhelming game all the way.
Survive in advance.
Survive in advance.
Just win.
All right, I'll take it.
I think that's it. Like, that's where we are. None of it matters. It's the Bengals. The Bengals are a mess. They played Flacco for the second time in 4 weeks. Like, just be done with it. On to Phoenix, my friend.
On to Phoenix.
And by the way, if the Detroit Lions lose to the Kansas City Chiefs tonight, the Green Bay Packers are in first place in the NFC North.
Which scoring drive was the most important in today's game? It's time for the drive of the game, brought to you by Focus on Energy, turning big plays into big savings for Wisconsin businesses. You're listening to the Green Bay football postgame show on the Fan with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Drive of the game.
Drive of the game.
I am going to go with the drive that ended with this.
1st and 10. Fake to Jacobs. It's out to the tight end. Kraft galloping inside. Touchdown. 19-yard touchdown pass. A catch and run by the tight end Kraft. His 3rd of the season.
6 plays, 62 yards. Jordan Love hit Romeo Doubs, an incompletion. Jordan Love then finds Josh Jacobs for a nice little check down over the middle of the field. A big run from Josh Jacobs that got them to the 19-yard line that then would get Tucker Kraft his 3rd touchdown of the season. That is your drive of the game. Mitch, that felt like it was a moment the Packers needed to score after it was brought back to a 1-possession game. Joe Flacco and the Bengals then would march down 10 plays, 65 yards immediately after to make it a 1-possession game again. Went for 2 as well in that on that drive. And then the field goal makes it a 2-possession game for Green Bay.
That whole going for 2 thing is a weird thing. I don't really understand it. That absolutely, though, was the drive of the game. The Bengals, with their field goal, had cut it to a 1-possession game. It was 17-10, and the Packers answered. I know that some people might say, all right, well, it could be it could have been the Josh Jacobs one, where Cincinnati comes out with a 17-play, 78-yard, 10-minute and 14-second drive to make it 10-7, and the Packers answer with a 9 for 66 and 450. Josh Jacobs to go back up by 2 scores, go back up by 10. Listen, if you think that's the drive of the game, we don't have to argue that. But the Tucker Kraft, if you saw the play, you know that when he caught the ball, 90% of wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends in this league are going out of bounds between the 6 and the 8-yard line there.
Yeah.
And Tucker Kraft turns it up because that's how he always does. He always turns it up to 11, and he puts his head down and he sprints for the end zone and he gets in. And it's just like that is why Wisconsinites love him. That is why Packers fan love him. And that is why, as Steve Sparky Pfeiffer will tell you for 3 straight hours tomorrow, well, when he's not talking about the Brewers, they need to get the ball to Tucker Kraft more.
Can we trade for Robert Saleh? We should have kept him when they had the chance. This is not a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator and quite possibly coaching staff as a whole. Win or lose, this is another embarrassing performance. That comes from the 262. You can chime in as well. Nicolay Law Fan talking text line 414-677-1250 if you want to join the program. I don't know. The defense just doesn't create turnovers. That's the only flaw of the defense, right? I mean, and you can tell that the game plan is get the ball out quick when going up against Green Bay's defense too. They have a phenomenal front 4 now. It's a little bit banged up with no Devontae Wyatt. You don't quite, they have great edge rushers, I should say, right? Yeah. Rashawn Gary, though, however, kind of quiet again today, it felt like. Maybe Micah Parsons as well. They'll always say all his numbers are not going to show up on the stat sheets, too, because of the pressures that he creates.
I'm kind of tired of that, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would rather just see him make a play, right?
Now you did mention, and I wasn't watching carefully him specifically, because we know in past games we've heard that, well, he's getting held 10 times a game and they're not getting the calls. There was a play in the fourth quarter where you said, like, he basically got tackled.
Yeah.
And it's like at some point, I don't know if it's LaFleur, I don't know if it's Micah, I don't know if it's Halfley. Somebody's got to get him the flag. Like, somebody's got to get him a big holding call when it counts.
Jordan Love, quarterback of your Green Bay Packers, speaking to the media earlier today, immediately after the game. Let's hear it right now on the Green Bay Football Postgame Show.
Jordan, what did you see on the big play to Golden and at the end of the game, make a field goal?
Yeah, we had a concept called a deeper concept, and I felt the pocket kind of moving and a lane to kind of get out, so I started moving left, and MG was taking it deep and kind of saw me working the scramble. And so he was able to put his foot in the ground and come back down and, just threw it up for him. He made a great play.
What's he add to your offense if you can start getting more out of him?
MG, man, he adds another explosive playmaker. I think he made some big-time plays today. Both really explosive plays, with the go ball down the sideline and that, last play there to him. But I think he's a guy that we're going to keep trying to, get going and keep finding ways to get him the ball because he's done some really good things. And it's always about just trying to spread it around. But he's definitely a very explosive playmaker. And just got to keep finding ways to get to him.
Did that sound like a guy who loves Matthew Golden, who just always is like, oh, I want to find a way to get him the ball? Or does that sound like a guy that even Jordan Love still has to warm up to him a little bit?
Yeah, I think the second. I think that he still has to warm up to him. It's we know. Listen, Dobbs had 9 targets today. Nobody else had more than 5. We know that Dobbs is the guy he's going to try to force the ball to. Again, I just mentioned Tucker Kraft, but I think Matthew Golden's a great example as well. 3 for 86. Like, dude can get open on a team where not a lot of dudes can get open. Dobbs, a lot of those throws are Dobbs is not open, and Love is trying to force it to him. Matthew Golden gets open. And I think the sooner that he trusts Golden, the sooner that the team trusts Golden, the sooner we're going to see some more special things go on, because we're just not seeing that right now. Like, we're just, unfortunately, we're in a place where they don't have that comfort level with Golden. They're waiting for Christian Watson to come back. Jaden Reed's not there. For whatever reason, Tucker Kraft isn't a bigger part of the offense. And so what Golden's done, what he did against Dallas and what he's now done against Cincinnati, I think he's earned it. I just hope that Love sees it.
More of Jordan Love.
So through 5 games, do you feel like you guys have been explosive enough, or you think you need to get Watson into this mix over the next couple months to be as explosive as you need to be?
Oh man, I think there's definitely still room to make even more bigger plays. I think we've done a good job of hitting some of them, but I think, like you said, you had Christian Watson back to the mix, and I think we can do some real damage. So we're always trying to find ways to create those explosive plays and push the ball down the field and just put that pressure on the defense. But you add another speed guy like Christian, we're going to open this thing up. But I still think there's just more plays we can hit on.
Jordan, adding to that, you guys are average today 7 yards a play, and I'm using the term only loosely, but only 27 points. Are those big plays what's missing from piling up, 34, 40, those bigger numbers?
Yeah, I think that, and I think just finding ways to score. I think we did a great job of moving the ball, the whole game, and I think we just got to keep finding ways to score when we cross, the 40, 30-yard line. So I think we'll look at it and find out what's missing there. But I think, continue to hit more explosive plays. We'll do that. But I think just, if we're going to keep moving the ball the way we're doing and putting these long drives together, we just got to find ways to come up with touchdowns instead of field goals or, having the interception early in the game. But just got to find ways to score touchdowns.
This is the first game you guys are starting 5 offensive lines start and finish the game all year. Is that something you felt more comfortable with, and can that help you guys get more explosive on offense too?
Definitely. I think that's the name of the game, is trying to stay healthy and get your best players out there. So Having those guys out there, I felt very comfortable. I felt good with whoever we had in there, but having those guys, you can feel the difference. So, that's going to be a big key is going forward is trying to find ways to stay healthy and, get our body back throughout the week because, bye week's gone. So, we're in it for the long haul now. So just got to keep finding ways to do that.
Did you feel the difference, Mitch? Did you? Because week 1 and week 2, it felt different.
Yes.
Week 1 and week 2, it felt different. And maybe that was because the Packers had a phenomenal game plan for Detroit and for Washington.
Yes.
But they still don't know. They are forcing. Remember when I said you could write Jordan Morgan in Sharpie on the offensive line,
yes,
but you just don't know where to write it?
Right.
They are just continuing to force Jordan Morgan down our throats, it feels like. And they are screwing over Sean Ryan in this instance.
Not just Sean Ryan, though, the whole offensive line. Because
yeah,
I think,
maybe.
We've heard from whether it's Mike Wall or TJ Lang or, all sorts of Mason's former teammates who played offensive line, that knowing the guy next to you and knowing where he's going to be on every single play, like that type of chemistry really matters, that type of symmetry. And when you move guys in and out, it messes with that. Even if guys are good, like even if they have 6 quality starting guys, even if Jordan Morgan is a starting quality guy, when you have guys moving in and out, it just messes with that continuity. And I think they have to figure that out and figure out what's best for this team, because I don't think there's any team in the history of the NFL that has played with like guys moving in and out of the offensive line with some sort of when guys split time, platoon situation.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen, like, listen, if Andrew Vaughn and Jake Bowers are platooning at first against righties and lefties, that's going to come out to the Brewers' benefit. If you have 2 guys platooning at right guard, that's not going to help the symmetry of that offensive line.
Let's get more.
I'm dropping my highlighter on that.
More of Jordan Love again here. We'll see what else we got of him.
What was the message? What was the discussion after the interception on the first drive? What were you guys talking about on the sideline?
Yeah, just keep going. Next play mentality, next drive mentality. Obviously, it's a bad mistake right there. We're in field goal range and throwing an interception on the first drive. So it's tough. It's something that you never want to have happen. But it's how do you respond? And I think defense went out there and did a great job of getting us the ball back. But it's just about moving on and responding. I think we did a good job of driving the ball down the field, but it just comes down to being smart.
What did you see on that play, and what do you have to think in the moment to decide whether the risk is worth it or not?
Yeah, that's a tough part, but I kind of broke free, was trying to break a tackle, and I saw Rome coming across the field with the DB on his back, and I said, let's go, let's try and make this tough throw, and I missed it behind. So obviously it's one of those areas where you just got to understand the situation. We're in field goal range, we have points, so if it feels like it's going to be a tight throw or I'm not very confident in it, just throw it away. Live to fight another day, but tried to make it happen. Didn't work, and it came back to bite us on that play right there. So just got to learn from it.
Are you okay with Jordan Love thinking he can make like one of those plays a game? Because it does.
I want to be
right.
I want to be
again. We've talked about it. That throw to Matthew Golden to convert on third down was a freaking awesome throw.
Yes.
Like, you just put it on a rope to him. It was a beautiful pass. And that one, again, he just had some pressure in his face and tried to make a play happen when he shouldn't have. You know what is one thing that he has taken from Aaron Rodgers? Here's one thing that I can tell you is he hates taking sacks. He just throw it away or throwing it into something. He hates taking sacks. Maybe more than he hates throwing interceptions, right? Like, I feel that way about Jordan Love. He's always trying to not be taken down in the backfield. And that was why that play ultimately happens, is that the pressure got to him, and that was when Hendrickson. Yeah,
you can throw the ball away. You don't have to take the sacks. You can throw the ball away. Mrs. Thunder is sitting on the couch in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, saying throw the ball away. She can see it.
Yeah, but there's got to be some ego to playing quarterback, no matter who you are, where you think you can make the play. You will make the play whatever it is. I think that maybe that gets in the way a little bit of Jordan's games at times,
Yes,
but
it
then he also finds a way to bring it back. And maybe I would rather have him make those plays earlier than later in a ball game. We've seen him do both this year. He didn't do it in the late stages of this game. It is the Green Bay football post-game show. Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Thunder Nellis here with you in place of Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. A little bit more of Jordan Love before we get out of here.
Was that message after that play to you, or did he not say that?
Say what? Sorry.
That we're in field goal range, or there's points there.
Oh no, definitely. That was a message from the coaches. Just be smart right there. We're in field goal range. Obviously, anytime you have a turnover in, when you're in scoring position on a third down, like just be smart right there. It's the first drive of the game. Would love to get those points. So just something you gotta. Obviously they're gonna tell me that when I come to the side, but just gotta file it away in the back of your mind and learn and grow from it.
You said in the offseason you wanted to use your legs more. You already have 5 more rushing yards than you did all of last year. How much of a weapon do you think that is already, and how much more can you do with it after you saw what you could do today?
Yeah, and I think always, quarterbacks using their legs and trying to extend plays when the routes are covered or things just break down in the pocket is huge. It puts that extra layer of pressure on the defense. And, I think that's something that I had to focus on coming in the season, was trying to use my legs more and extend some of these plays. And obviously, last year was dealing with some things, so I wasn't moving around as much. So it's definitely been a big emphasis for me. And I think it's been huge to be able to extend some of these plays, especially on 3rd and short. So just got to keep trying to find ways to do that. But I think it's been great.
There is Jordan Love, a little bit of him speaking to the media after the game today. Packers win 27-18 over the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think that is something you can take away, Mitch, as a positive, is that Jordan Love does appear to be at full health.
Yes.
And the ability to use his legs. Again, it bailed out this Packers team quite a few times today, it felt like.
Well, we talked about that 3rd and 2 where he was trying to just swing it to Jacobs, but Jacobs was covered and he made that great run. But there were some other ones too. He's never going to be Caleb Williams.
No.
He's never going to be Jaden McDaniels. Just kidding. Jaden Daniels. But if he's a guy who can get, 15, 20 yards a game, and if there's a scramble to be had, he can go get those yards. We know Brett Favre was that guy earlier in his career. Aaron Rodgers was that guy early in his career. They were both great athletes. Jordan Love, most guys, there are big throwers who aren't great athletes, but most guys in 2025 who are playing quarterback in the NFL are good athletes, and they can get out and they can get you those 5-yard runs, or even you hit the stick sometimes, and whether they're going to slide or they're going to go head first and get the first down or come up a yard short, they're going to get those yards. Tommy, I like to chase squirrels, right?
Yeah.
Just in case you were wondering, Bucks are up 65-61 at the half.
Nice.
Giannis 10.7
George
rebounds.
Springer led off the ALCS with a homer too for the Toronto Blue Jays. They are up 1-0 as well.
I love sports.
On the other side, let's hear from the head coach, Matt LaFleur. Feels like he has a lot of eyes on his performances recently, specifically against the Bengals today, Dallas 2 weeks ago. Maybe after a bye, looking for a little more out of him. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur after this. It is the Green Bay football postgame show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
What play or plays changed today's game? It's time for the turning point of the game on the Green Bay Football Postgame Show with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on The Fan.
6 in the secondary, 3rd and 10 for Love. Here comes Hendrickson. There goes Love. Downfield, caught by Golden. What a catch. What a throw. Cam Taylor-Britt was beaten. Ball at the 34, 35. Mark him at the 35-yard line of the Bengals. A 36-yard completion.
And Kevin, after overthrowing the last one, you could not have thrown this ball any better than Jordan Love did right there. Excellent coverage by Taylor-Britt.
It is the Green Bay Football Postgame Show. Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Thunder Nellis here with you. That was Matthew Golden connecting, Jordan Love connecting with Matthew Golden on a 36-yard play. Highlights courtesy CBS. Mitch Nellis, I felt like that was a fair turning point of the game. You needed a big play there from Matthew Golden, and it was the throw that was right after the Luke Musgrave throw in the ball game. Which needed to be made, and Jordan Love made the play.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Jordan Love had to come back there, and he had to make a throw. I think that's a great turning point. I also look at Cincinnati taking that first drive, that 7,000 minute drive, 7,000 yard drive to score that touchdown. And I like, I look at that drive and all the different plays in it, and it's easy. I think that Josh Jacobs play up the run up the middle, the touchdown, where it's just like, looks like Josh Jacobs, that's where we see he ran. It was a 14-yard run. And we've talked a lot about how we haven't seen a big bust out run. I wonder if that was a play at midfield. If that's a play based on the defense, if that could have been like a 50-yard run up the middle. I mean, it just felt like they got the whole field tilted one way. Jacobs went the other way and was gone.
Josh Jacobs, big day for him. He had his most rushing yards, his best rush yards per rush on the day. Yep. 2 touchdowns, his 5th multi-touchdown game as a member of the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur was at the podium a little while ago. Let's see what he had to say after the Packers come away with a 27-18 win over Cincinnati.
Well, I feel a sense of relief right now. We always try to take it one game at a time. And just the bottom line is you got to find a way to win the game. And you see it each and every week around the league. A lot of these games are going down to the wire. You got to give Cincinnati a ton of credit for what they were able to do, specifically offensively the second half. They had opportunity to score on every drive. And so it was pretty remarkable to see a guy like Joe Flacco come in there and operate. And certainly they got some really good players over there, but I was proud of our guys. You always get punched in the face in this league, and our guys kept responding. And that's what we need to be. And you have to go through those moments in order to be that. So bottom line, we found a way, and I'm happy, and we'll move on to Arizona now.
Is that an appropriate opening response after this game? Is that just coach speak the entire time?
This game sucked, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean,
we showed up, we played football, nothing happened. We're going to Arizona.
Yeah, I'm proud of our guys. You're always going to get punched in the mouth. It was Joe Flacco. He's praising Joe Flacco. He's 40 years old. I don't know. I want a little more fire out of that opening statement from Matt LaFleur. And I feel like I'm persuading myself that Matt LaFleur is ticking me off a little bit as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. I don't know. Let's hear more of him.
How do you, I know you found a way at the end, but it was 10-0 in the halftime. And I'm sure you probably felt the same way too, that maybe you should have had a little bit more command of the game. How do you take a stronger hold of those games, you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. Otherwise we'd do that, I think when you look at the first half, we had 2 drives where we scored. We had a 3rd drive where we're down there in the red area and we throw a pick. And certainly when you're in scoring position and you come away with nothing, that's tough to deal with. I think one of the things that when you look at the totality of the game, there were a lot of critical situations where they were able to make the play and we didn't, to keep them in the game. But that is life in the National Football League.
Nah. Oh, I hate that end.
That is life in the National Football.
No, it's not. It doesn't have to be.
Be better. Be better, right? Can we be better?
I think that exactly what that's exactly where my brain goes, right? I just be better. Like this team, when you make that trade for Micah Parsons, that is not just the rest of the NFL has to notice that you feel serious, is that Goody and policy and everyone in that organization feels that it is time to be serious. This is time that when you are playing a Bengals team without Joe Burrow and with a quarterback that's been there for 2 hours, that, yeah, you should be in complete control of the game the entire time. And it never felt like the Packers weren't in control of this game.
Right, they were in control.
But I didn't want to give any sort of hope or faith. And I know that you felt I know that when it made it a one possession game in the fourth quarter, everyone's like, oh, God, here we go again. Here we go again. And maybe with a less talented team like Cincinnati, that we should have never felt that way. But we thought the same thing about Dallas just 2 weeks ago, Mitch.
We definitely felt the same way about Cleveland. I mean, the Packers controlled that game for 57 minutes.
Yeah.
And then found a way to blow it up 2 scores.
If they didn't have that Cleveland performance in this game, would we have the same reaction to today's game?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I think we would have the same attitude that LaFleur does. Ho hum, we didn't play great. We got the win. Who cares? Let's do it again next week against Arizona. I think they're still looking forward ahead to Philly.
Well, and
I literally think they're looking ahead. Maybe to Pittsburgh. Now that Pittsburgh's playing well and it's a road game and it's Aaron Rodgers, but I think all this is the appetizer until we get to Philly. And I think there are too many people in that locker room who feel that way, who they need Pat Murphy to come into that locker room and slap their asses from behind and say, win tonight. All right. Don't worry about tomorrow night. Don't worry about next week. Win tonight, because that's what the crew did last night, baby. Woo!
What did you make of that interception? I kind of wondered or thought of that maybe Jordan was past the point of throwing an interception like that.
Well, I think he was trying to make a play, and sometimes that happens. So I got to go back and look at it. I mean, once it starts going off schedule like that, I agree with you, and he probably would too. I don't know. I'm sure you guys asked him about it. I don't know what he said, but outside of that, I thought he played his ass off. That was one of the better games that he's played for us in terms of just being able to use his legs to convert critical third downs.
On your terrible play calls.
One we had where maybe it was 3rd and 2, we ran a roll pass that got gloved. His ability to maneuver through and find a way to pick up a first down, the 3rd down conversion late in the game when they just sacked us and they got all the momentum. I mean, that was a big time play to hit MG right there. So yeah, quarterbacks. I mean,
is MG a thing, by the way?
Every play is
sounds like it's
under a microscope,
that's the thing.
and certainly we never want to give the ball up. But I thought he played his ass off.
Look, I think he bailed him out a lot today.
You think so?
I think that's why he's saying that.
Right.
I feel like Matt LaFleur is like, oh, we weren't ready in some plays, and then Jordan Love found a way to make it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sure seems like he's saying that Jordan Love bailed me out a lot of times, a couple of times, at least today, including that 3rd down run that we had said, hey, that was an all-star level play from Jordan Love, as all-star as a 4-yard run can look, but he knew he needed to make that play. Right. They needed that first down. Otherwise, the momentum was going to be back in the favor of Cincinnati. You neutralize it right there. And when you see the rest of the offense and how vanilla it was throughout, like there isn't a lot of moments for Jordan Love to have that improviser in him. They want him to be a game manager, it sounds like.
I think they do. But I think they also know that they can count on him to make a play. I think the worry then again is when he tries to make a play with his arm, sometimes he makes a mistake of a play. And so I think what LaFleur needs, what LaFleur needs Love to do is to just get, like, honestly, just get to the 60 minutes. Just get to play 60 minutes. Don't play 57. Don't mess around. Get the win. Let the line do the job. Let everybody else do their job and do your job well enough to get the win.
Jared Goff just caught a touchdown pass from David Montgomery, I believe. That was
Did
very.
Montgomery throw one last week?
He might have. Yeah, look at this one here. It was like a motion out, and then look at how crazy
and they let
it
him
got.
score.
Yeah, he scored on this.
How is that? That is ridiculous. The Chiefs, you guys suck.
Taylor, it is.
Come on, do better.
The Green Bay football post-game show. Q chiming in on the YouTube stream. If MLF, Matt LaFleur, loses to Aaron, he is going to lose this locker room. Now, that is very far ahead, but
that doesn't even make sense.
I don't.
You can go to Pittsburgh and lose.
I need to know how.
He's not losing the locker room.
I don't think the locker room is lost by any means right now, but it sure feels like the fan base ain't all in on this team right now.
Right.
And that seems important. Maybe.
It does it? To who?
It maybe feels like that the first 2 weeks went too perfect. That's also the case, right? Yeah. Because I think there was definitely people chalking up a loss for Detroit to start the year, right? I mean, you find out you're 3-1-1, and let's say it was a loss to the Lions and a tie with the Commanders.
No touchdown.
And
illegal
then
motion, by the way.
You just went into 3 straight wins after that. Like, people would be feeling way different about this team. It's the order of the operations that it happened.
But
now.
they also should be 5-0. They should be 5-0.
Yeah.
Like they're better than Cleveland. They're better than Dallas, even if they're not great.
But are they?
Even
like we've been arguing right now that this team is not as exciting as we feel it should be. Maybe they're not better.
Exciting doesn't mean good.
Maybe they're not better than we think they are.
Well, first of all, those are two different guys. Maybe they're not, but I think they are. And I think most football people would say they are better than the Cleveland Browns. They are better than the Dallas Cowboys. And so should they be 5-0? Yes, they should. And the fact that they got one tie and one loss means something's amiss. Something's a little bit off with this team. Even beating Cincinnati by 9, the way they look today, something's just a little off. Something's just a little weird.
A little more of Matt LaFleur before we hit another break here.
That big play to Golden you just mentioned, how much of that was kind of improv? I mean, in terms of making something happen on the fly.
Yeah, I didn't really see what happened in the pocket. I mean, that was kind of the design of the play, is to get MG across the field, but you could feel it go off schedule, and those guys, it was a hell of a throw and catch.
Even like the most impressive play of the day is not scripted, right?
Not a play.
Not again. All right, Matt, a little more.
Great.
Jordan said that your message after the pick was, "Hey, we're in field goal range. You're taking, we turn it over, we're taking points off the board." Is that the next step though for him to go from a good quarterback to he's had a few of those moments through the first 5 games?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, none of these guys in this league are perfect, but I think he's playing at a pretty high level.
With Golden having a career day today with 102 yards receptions, is it your plan to use him more in your offense in the future?
I mean, it's just is what it is, guys. Like, I know everybody wants us to force feed guys the ball, but I mean, that's really not how we've done it around here. And
unless your name's Romeo Dobbs.
So
unless your name's Romeo Dobbs, bro, that is not true. That is a bold corn cop-out answer by Matt LaFleur.
Adams was here too. Like, you want to go? Josh Jacobs? Do you not try to force it to Josh Jacobs at times when it's working well? I'm telling you, like, I just feel like I'm drifting away, and I shouldn't be. They won today by 9, right? Yes. And to find something where there are plenty of positives in this game, yes, like you just said, Matthew Golden over 100 all-purpose, Jordan Love 250 yards through the air. His legs look good today. Josh Jacobs back to over 5 yards a carry, but we're looking and we're constantly searching now for the special in this team. And I don't know if I can find that right now, Mitch. I just don't see it in these last 2 games, especially last 3 games, especially for Green Bay. I thought I saw the special in week 1. Yeah. And then in week 2, it was like, oh, yeah, this defense is never going to give up more than 15 points a game, right? And the offense, if they're just going to spread the ball around, it's going to be great. Like, Matt LaFleur, you got to show that you're going to spread the ball around effectively then if you're not going to be asked to force feed people, right? And that didn't happen today. It was Matthew Golden and Romeo Dobbs, a lot of targets, 9 targets, like you said today. I don't think that you can't say we're trying to get everyone the ball Tucker Kraft gets 2 targets, Dontavian Wicks 2, Luke Musgrave gets 2, Emmanuel Wilson gets 1. Like,
And
come on.
Emmanuel Wilson's one was one of the worst plays I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes.
They were 3rd and 2 toward the end of the game, and they threw a 4-yard loss.
Mhm.
Great. Nice.
Well, we'll name an MVP of the game after when we come back. It is the Green Bay Football Post-Game Show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
your popcorn ready.
Who was the most valuable player for Green Bay today?
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Who stood out the most?
Here we go.
It's time to announce the MVP of the game on the Green Bay Football Postgame Show with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on The Fan.
Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Nellis in for Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. Packers win 27-18. Andy Herman, Pack-A-Day Podcast, just not happy with how people fan on Twitter. It sounds like
Josh Albrecht would say, "Don't tell me how to fan."
Right,
That's his podcast.
Yeah, I mean, just seems like he's like, "Yo, they win by 2 scores. What more do you want from them?" Right? You know, Andy Herman, he's just a jumping joy of positivity always. That's why we talk over here to do the opposite of Andy Herman all the time. He'll be on with Mitch Nellis and Josh Albrecht tomorrow, 8:20. Andy Herman of the Pack-A-Day Podcast. Plus, we'll be live from 2 to 7 at Kelly's Bleachers for Wisconsin Sports Daily.
Amazing.
And a 2-hour edition of the leadoff show, getting you ready for NLCS Game 1, Brewers versus Dodgers at American Family Field. That's going to be awesome, Mitch.
I mean, it's going to be, part of me wishes there was a couple more days off for rest or to figure out what the Brewers need to do. But part of me is like, listen, you got pushed to 5, jump right back in. You get to stay home. At least they don't have to travel.
Yeah.
And let's go. I mean, last night was unbelievable. We'll be talking about that tomorrow morning
from
6 to 9 with me and Josh. And it was just, I mean, I was a fan. I was media, but I was also a fan. I was wearing my friendship, Power of Friendship t-shirt. It was unbelievable. But you know what? We had a rest for a day. All right. We had a day off of the Brewers and we got to focus on the Packers a little bit. And I know people aren't happy, and I'd love to hear what Andy Herman's talking about, how people are fanning. But you know what? A win's a win. And again, I said it earlier in the show. If the Chiefs beat the Lions tonight, the Packers are in first place in the North. Okay. So however you feel about the Cleveland Browns game and the Dallas Cowboys game, if the Lions lose on the road in Kansas City tonight, which is going on right now, and the Lions, newsflash, the Chiefs just scored a touchdown to take the lead. It's still early in the first quarter, but the Packers, by the end of the night, by the time I wake up and go on the air at 6 a.m. tomorrow, Packers could be a first-place football team.
Yeah, they could. They absolutely could be. MVP of the game today, Mitch Nellis. Where do you go first? And don't steal mine.
I was going to say, do I have to? So there's nothing I hate more than a game MVP.
There's an obvious answer, though.
I know. I've hated it forever.
But what's the obvious answer?
Josh Jacobs.
No. Oh, wrong. No.
93 yards, 2 touchdowns?
No. Lucas Haversack, man. The kicker.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Obvious answer.
5 for 5.
5 for 5.
5 for 5.
3 for 3 on extra points. Hit the 2
right.
field goals in the game. Nothing more than 43 yards.
You're
but
right.
again, you lose Brandon McManus for the game. Also, Lucas Van Ness exiting in the game. Dontavian Wicks exited this game. Just when you think the Packers get a little bit healthier, always something to worry about on the injury front. But you got Haversack here, who comes in on, again, like a day notice pretty much here when they're working out with him, and he doesn't cost the game. There could have been plenty of moments he scored 9 points today. The Packers won by 9 points, right? I mean, that's him. He did his thing today. He did his part. That's 100% my MVP. Easy enough. Yes, it was great to see Josh Jacobs get back out there and have a game where he does have over 140 all-purpose yards. Matthew Golden, to get him involved in the offense a little bit. And even Jordan Love. I really thought he played a fine game today, maybe just nothing special. There was a couple of throws that were special today, though, in my opinion.
Sure.
And I think that should be noted for Jordan Love in this contest. But I point to the kicker just being the guy ready to go today. And that's where I would go for my MVP of the game. Got a few minutes left here for the Green Bay football post-game show. Next week, the Green Bay Packers set to take on the Arizona Cardinals. That'll be a 3:25 game as well. We'll be here with the Green Bay football post-game show immediately after the game ends. The schedule gets to an interesting part here. It's Cardinals and Steelers to wrap up October here. They'll be on the road for both of those games. Their next home game is going to be against the Carolina Panthers. That'll be on November 2nd. November 2nd is the next home game. It's didn't they just not play at home for so long already because they had two road games?
Today.
Yeah, I think it was 51 days since the last home game. I think I did the math on that the Commanders game was the last home game. Then they were on the road with the bye then as well there. So weird for sure. Going around the rest
Arizona 2-4, by the way. Do you remember when they were 2-0?
Yeah.
And that
there's
entire
always that team.
And that entire
every year.
division was over 500.
Mitch, your Patriots, they won 25-19 today. Seattle takes down the Jaguars. Seattle sneaky 4-2 right now. They're 20 and they won 20-12 over Jacksonville. The Broncos and the Jets. Can we just get rid of morning football, guys? Waking up at 8 a.m. for that.
That game was horrid.
Horrible.
Yes.
The Jets are a dumpster fire right now, and they should have way more fun. Like Justin Fields, we saw him play. It wasn't always exciting, and he didn't always make the right play, but he had a little bit to him that made you think, oh, there's something there. And Breece Hall, same thing for New York. Braylon Allen as well, former
Justin
Badger.
Fields, 9 for 17, 45 yards. Lost 55 yards on sacks, was sacked 9 times. A passing completion or a passing yardage of -10 yards in the game.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Unreal. Colts 5-1, 31-27.
I guess he did run for 31, so he was plus 21.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good day, Justin. Nice. The Chargers, they beat the Dolphins. Congrats. 2 points to the Dolphins. 29-27. Steelers take care of the Browns 23-9. The Panthers, all of a sudden the Panthers 3-3, by the way.
Anybody can score,
and they just beat the Cowboys. Right. So I mean, seems like the Packers should be nervous about that one all of a sudden. Rams 17-3 over the Ravens. Gosh, just when you think all sucks, just remember you could be a Ravens fan right now who is 1-5. Similar record to the Tennessee Titans, who fell to the Raiders today. I'm going to be honest. This is the one game I don't think I saw a single thing from.
The Raiders game?
The Raiders,
Same.
Titans.
Same.
Everything else, I feel like I saw something. I don't think I saw a single highlight, news update, anything.
I think I walked into my buddy Brent's house. Mrs. Thunder and I were on a walk before the Packers game, and we were a block away from our house. Brent's door was open. I walked in. He had the Red Zone channel on. So I think I saw one play from that game because it was
20-10 Raiders beat the Titans.
The Raiders
and the Buccaneers 5-1 now. They win 30-19 over the 49ers. Mac Jones, though, casually 347 yards today.
Well, they were in catch-up mode early.
Yes. And 2 picks as well on the day. Right now, as we are watching Sunday Night Football, it is 6-3. The Kansas City Chiefs.
They miss?
They must have. Yeah, that's what I have right here, at least, is that it is 6-3 in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Extra point, no good, wide left.
Yeah.
What's up, Butker?
Not great. The Chiefs, remember, were 2.5-point favorites in that game, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
That missed point could turn into
could mess everything up. Packers win. No one is super impressed with the victory, right? Yeah. I think this was always, though, it was always a game that you weren't going to feel more impressed by the Packers, even if they would have went out and dominated. They were playing the Bengals with Joe Flacco, had been there for 2 days, and you knew you were already better than this team. Jake Browning, I guess I'm just waiting for the Packers to have that day on defense. They're going to have a day where they get 2 or 3 turnovers. They're going to have 5 sacks in this game. It's going to happen. This team has that in them. It just hasn't come out yet. And I think a lot of people were hoping it would be against this Bengals offense. Unfortunately, not there. Jordan Love, 259 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 140 all-purpose yards. Mitch Nellis, thank you so much for popping in with us today.
My pleasure. It was great. I'll be back on at 6 a.m. with Josh Albrecht. Josh and Thunder and Josh. I don't know, whatever it is.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m. now here at the Fan.
Not
every
tomorrow.
Weekday, but tomorrow especially 2 to 7. Wisconsin Sports Daily and the leadoff show going to be live from Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound, getting you all caught up on everything. Game 1, the NLCS. That's going to be tomorrow.
I can't believe nobody responded to my Cena Styles post in the YouTube page.
I don't think anyone was going to. Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Thanks,
I
everyone
literally cried.
who called in
I
today.
did not cry during Packers Bengals. I did cry during the Brewers game last night, though.
Have a good rest of your night. Packers, they win 3-1-1 now. Tommy Wirtz, Mitch Thundernellis. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Milwaukee.